My name is Daniela Paredes. I'm co-founder and CXO of Gravity Sketch. What I do every day is basically work with different teams in the company to make sure that the Gravity Sketch vision and mission stay true and continue spreading the culture and amplifying it.
I'm Gökçen. I'm one of the interaction designers at Gravity Sketch. Currently, I'm working on the iPad app, which is going to be released soon. I'm also helping with VR and everything else that's design related at Gravity Sketch.
My name is Katie, and I'm the UX designer here in Gravity Sketch. And my work is mainly doing the UX design for landing pad web and also for some Gravity Sketch VR.
So I'm Becca. I'm the Education Development Associate at Gravity Sketch. And basically I develop the relationships with the universities and students that we work with.
Hi, this is Lu. I'm the UI UX engineer from Gravity Sketch. My job is like the bridge between designers and the engineering.
Hi, my name is Bethany Gill. I'm an interaction designer at Gravity Sketch, and basically that means I help with research, design, UX and all that sort of stuff in the design team.
The thing I like the most about the work that I do is that I get to work with people from different backgrounds and different disciplines, tackling a really, really big problem. So if you think about it, what we're trying to do in Gravity Sketch is essentially change how design is done, and not because we're just trying to change it because suddenly one day we realized that it would be cool to change something in the world, but it's been something that us as co-founders, we went through the pain of having to communicate and create a three-dimensional idea, and we know that it is something that the world is waiting for, and we've been able to work with so many good people in our community, people within Gravity Sketch, to make sure that what we're producing is a tool that will actually enable teams to just collaborate in a better way.
I think I really like the fact that we are basically creating something for creators. That has been a passion for me for such a long time, and I know that like designing any digital tool or any digital service probably would be exciting for me because I overall like what I'm doing, but when you create something and people create another thing for that thing that you created, I feel like there's something very magical about it. I think that's the part that I really like. And also, since we are in this emerging technology space, most of the people who are currently using our tool are really passionate about it. They know that it's something new and it hasn't been around for some time, and maybe it was something that they imagined before it existed. So I think seeing that like satisfaction and excitement about the tool we're working on, probably that's the most fun thing about it.
I think I really like the user-centered design process and to understand what's the user need and then come up with the solutions. And then also one thing I like a lot about Gravity Sketch is that here we can iterate very quickly.
So every day is different, which I love. And just seeing how creative the students' responses have been to the pandemic. They're solving real world problems and creating amazing virtual worlds to showcase their work. So I've seen final shows inside a 3D VR spaceship or a 2D replica of an art gallery to display their work. So that's been really cool to see.
I like the most is we have the ownership of the product we're working on. For example, like the new lobby we recently released, we have a squad called Go Free Squad. So we all provide the ideas to how to make this lobby and how to make this Go Free smoothie from the start to the end. And we all super proud of the product we gave out at the end.
I find it really rewarding. I think a lot of the design team in Gravity Sketch does a lot of problem solving, and that's something that I find really satisfying. I also think that it's like a very rewarding type of work too, to be in something that's basically like a big influence in someone's workflow. So that's a really cool thing to be part of.
I think the achievement that I'm most proud of is to have been able to take an idea into a reality. You know, we all have ideas. We normally fantasize about, you know, how the world could be better in this or that way, but being able to go from it would be great to create this to now having a company with so many brilliant minds working to solve that same problem has been wonderful. And now seeing all the different users that we have actually improving their work through that idea that now became a reality is something that I would have never thought possible. You know, it's always something that you fantasize about creating something or solving something for the world, but now it's actually happening.
This is kind of difficult because it might be, I guess, only explained by luck, but I have been mostly doing the things that I wanted to do, and it worked. Like without doing much research or anything, I decided to study industrial design, and later on I didn't regret that. I think that was good. Also during my career, for example, after studying industrial design, I decided not to become an industrial designer. I decided to become a designer in technology industry, and that worked as well. I didn't regret that either. And after that, I wanted to study a master's that had almost nothing to do with my career. I just wanted to do it because I wanted to do some art. So that worked too. And also like the companies and roles that I worked for were mostly chosen based on like what felt right. And that was also good. So even though like looking back at my career right now, it feels like I didn't really have a clear plan and only followed my emotions in a way and gut feelings. They actually never failed me, and I feel like that was probably the best achievement, because I always think that if I followed a very clear plan and maybe sometimes ignored how I felt about a position, a company, or a project that I was working for, but like still stick with the plan, maybe I would have regretted that.
I think it's to explore different things and not being limited by constraint and try different possibilities. For example, like I've experienced different kind of career in my life. So like I was a psychologist, I was a researcher, and then finally I found that the thing that I really like is to doing UX design. So this is like, I think, my journey of life, and I really like it.
So I won a scholarship to study in Tokyo for a year when I was 18, and yeah, it was an incredible experience.
Yeah, I have a really proud of achievement recently. It was last week. Me and my boyfriend went together fix the kitchen tap together. It's not only replace the tap. It's also have a kind of broken pipe underneath, but we fix them all. Super proud. You have no idea. We don't have the hot water for around half a year already, but finally we fixed it.
I'm really proud of allowing my confidence to grow and being a bit more self-assured. I think being in like a gender-dominated industry like tech and design, it can be really intimidating. And I think it took me a while to kind of find my feet and be able to trust myself and be comfortable to ask questions. So it's probably something I'm most proud of, is getting to that point.
I'm super, like, there's two things about me. So the people that know me really well, they'll know that I'm super cheesy. I'll be the sister that, you know, in the family that'll be like, yeah, let's name that dog whatever like super cheesy name, and my sisters will be like, no, that's a terrible name. So I'll be like the weird one in that respect. I'm always like, or let's play this game that it's all about hugging each other, and my family will be like, stop being so cheesy and huggy.
Okay, one funny and kind of quirky thing about me is until very recently I felt like there's a word for it. It's called proprioception, how you perceive your body, like presence. So I think it's about that. I felt like I was taller than I am. Like I would enter a room and I would like duck down, even though there's no way my head would hit the ceiling. So I was carrying my body as if I was much taller than I am. So I think that, and I knew that didn't make any sense, but now it's getting better. I don't think I have that much of that anymore, but it was quite dense, maybe like when I was around 20 years old.
I think like after staying at home for a year, like recently, the interesting thing about me is to collecting different bottles and put plants in the water and then all around my flat.
So I once went bungee jumping in Thailand to try and cure my fear of heights. It was 100 meters high and I was way too scared to jump off, so they had to push me. And it just made me 10 times more afraid of heights. So now I struggle going up tall staircases. So don't recommend doing that.
I played the video game a lot since lockdown. Especially I love to play Animal Crossing. And there are a lot of creative players and interesting islands on Animal Crossing. So when it started to be able to dream into other people's island, I've visiting several really, really nice islands. Like I have visited Disneyland and also a fairy tale island, a horror foggy island, and the most interesting one is the island. It's called Joe Biden's island. I met him in front of the White House, a fake White House. Super fun.
Yeah, this is actually quite a funny story. So my mum is a hairdresser, and throughout college she needed basically like a guinea pig to try all her hairstyles out on. So every week I put my hand up. I was like, me, I'll do it. And so I ended up having hair down to my hips, like really thick, long hair. And by the time she graduated college or finished her level, I had shaved head, like a mohawk. So at the moment I'm trying to grow it out from a completely shaved head. But yeah, I've always been able to turn to her and be like, let's try out this hairstyle this week. And it was literally every week or two I was changing.
So I think that diversity is important in basically everything that we do, in every single organization or group of people that is trying to solve a problem. And the reason for this is because you have different ways of thinking through people that have had different experiences, depending on who they are and what they have been through in life. You're going to have a richer solution. In our specific case, it is important because we're trying to essentially solve a really big problem, right? How do we enable people to materialize their ideas in the quickest and most intuitive way? That's kind of a very general thing to try to solve, right? And for having a very general problem to solve, you need to be thinking about all the small elements and aspects of it to be able to achieve something that will work for as many people as possible. If we had people that were just exactly the same, thinking exactly the same, we would probably be making a tool just for that kind of profile. But since we're working towards creating a tool that will work for everyone, we do need to have a variation of mindsets. And in our case, we're quite lucky to have different nationalities, different types of backgrounds.
Probably it's important in any industry and any work, I guess. And there are definitely multiple dimensions to it, like diversity from the team you're working with to diversity of your users or the audience you're speaking to. I think all of them are very important and important for different reasons. For the team I'm working for, I think that's like the more immediate one that I always pay attention to. My first job, I was working in Istanbul in Turkey. That's where I got my first job. And we had many more women developers and designers at that company compared to the next couple of companies that I worked for here in Finland. And I don't understand why, but then I actually read some research for that, because like in developing countries, there are more women engineers and women in STEM, because you really need to like make a good income to actually like be a bit more equal to your male counterparts. So I definitely felt the difference, even though the work environments here were also healthy, and like I didn't have any problem necessarily, but I for some reason felt like an other. Like, of course, there are other reasons to it as well. Like I'm a foreigner, but especially like being a woman and a minority in the company was always different. Like it manifests itself in very small ways, like from company social activities to how decisions are being made, actually, because especially in one of the companies I work for, everything seemed quite well, but the board was like only males, and they were around the same age, and like you could guess what kind of a decision you were going to get from them before it was even declared. So I think that just like things become really predictable, and you never know if it's in a good way or in a bad way, and because then it looks like it's such a strong structure that you can not ever change. And I think when there's diversity, things feel a bit more malleable. It feels like you can have a impact, like you can have a say. Things can change actually if you try to change them, or I guess you feel more included. And there's definitely some, like Daniela being one of the co-founders has an impact on my judgment to join Gravity Sketch, like for sure. Because when Gravity Sketch approached me and I saw that one of the co-founders was a woman, I was like, okay, now. And I knew Gravity Sketch, I knew the company, but I had no idea who were the co-founders and who was working for the company. But that definitely immediately made the company a bit more approachable for me.
I think like there are several reasons. One thing is that you can be more, you can have more thoughts when you come to solution. So it won't be narrow, or like it can prevent blind spot. And also like you can learn from other people. So because your experience may not be like as much as like lots of people do. So if you would be able to interact with different people, then you would learn from their experience.
I think it's really, really important to have diversity, especially in industries like tech and design, which are traditionally male-dominated. It can be quite intimidating to coming into an industry where you don't necessarily see yourself represented. So what I'm trying to do in my role is just promote as many female students' work as I can to give these really talented women the opportunity to get that foothold in industries where traditionally they might not have seen themselves.
I think the people comes from different background and with different skills may get different points of view for maybe a same question. So once we gathering these just different points of views together, we can understand this pinpoint of the problems better and giving a much better solution than the people in a less diversity environment.
I think in design it's really important to have diversity. I think if you don't have diverse teams, then you're not designing for a large range of people, and you often miss people out as well. So I think it's important to have a diverse team or have those conversations with a diverse group of people, because if you don't, then you're just 100% going to miss people out. And it doesn't become an inclusive product, it doesn't become a very good product. So I think it's really like essential to the workforce.
I would say that it might be a bit daunting to start something new or to propose something or try to achieve something. And it's probably because the people around you might not sound like you, behave like you, react like you. But I would say that this is something that you should take as inspiration and almost as an opportunity to show how special and different you are. So for me, I remember at the beginning of my career, and specifically when I was starting a company, I was always the only woman in the room, right? And as much as I tried to just ignore that aspect, it was really like, even to the point that, you know, I was speaking in a different tone of voice, right? So, and at first I tried to imitate what the whole room was doing, right? Because that's a normal human thing. You try to adapt and to be similar to your surroundings. But then I realized that it was going to be impossible for me to imitate a man, right? And that I had to take what I had and make that, take that as my advantage. So I would tell everyone, all the women and all the girls that are trying to do something, achieve something, propose something to the world, to just not try to fit anyone's shoes, to be your own person and use that to your advantage, because that is what the world needs at the moment. That's the reason why we need diversity, because we need different ways of thinking and behaving and reacting to something.
I feel like women in our industry, and probably this is valid for women in other industries too, but I can talk about our industry. I don't have the range to speak for others. We definitely need more confidence. Like, this is very clear to me, and I can say that because I'm surrounded by people who are working for tech, and I have been interviewing people for design jobs, not just at Gravity Sketch, but before also. And for me, the distinction is just so clear. Men always have more confidence. It's so clear. When you interview a woman or talk to a peer, there's always, I'm not saying that it's some sort of a self-doubt that would make you less successful, but it's always, I have always so much to learn. Like, I always need to improve myself so much. Like, women always have this large to-do list to become better, whereas our male counterparts are more like, look at my track record, like, look at what I have achieved so far. So it's not necessarily about the skills or the differences in terms of what these two people can achieve, but it's more about how they communicate it and how they look at it. So I think we should also talk more about our achievements and skills and what we're capable of, maybe as a first thing, rather than all the things that we're missing. To me, this is super clear. So what I would advise, and also, as I said, I could use this advice, is to focus on what we can actually do. And probably hearing this from women would be also beneficial to their teammates too. Like, if you know if you know what someone thinks they're capable of, you can actually know like how you can collaborate with them. You can know what kind of tasks they can take up to. So yeah, that's definitely one thing that we need. And obviously we probably need the industry to also give us space to show that confidence, but we can't wait for that. We just take up the space and show more confidence. I think that's what we should all do.
I think, like, when people are still young, maybe it's a good opportunity for people to explore more and to find the thing that they really like. Yeah, I think that's really important.
I would say that if you're interested in getting into an industry which is male dominated, don't be intimidated by that. Try and see that as an opportunity for change rather than a barrier to entry.
I've just read one line recently from a book. It said, never be done with learning, be a lifelong learner. I think it's really useful to everyone, not just girls, but everyone. You can learn anything, how say that? You can learn from anything basically, not maybe books, film, or even games, but just to be a lifelong learner is good.
Just to trust yourself. I think that, having that trust and having that confidence in yourself is so important. And I think some of the most successful people just go for it. They're motivated, they find influences. And I think that's probably the most important thing is I second guessed myself so much throughout uni, throughout college, when I was studying for doing product design. And if I had just, had the gumption to just go with my gut, I would have been to a much better place a lot quicker. So that's the one piece of advice I give, and always say yes as well. Even if you're a little bit nervous of an opportunity, you don't know how good that opportunity is going to be until you say yes. So just try it, and then if it doesn't work out, that's fine. You can learn from it.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone! Thanks for watching.
Happy Women's Day, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Happy Women's Day.
I wish a great International Women's Day to everyone.
Well, happy International Women's Day. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll be using Gravity Sketch again soon.
Bye everyone, happy Women's Day. Let's take this day to remember all of the achievements that we have done throughout our history and celebrate the women that have come before us.